Hello there, main recap here. Today we're recapping the horror movie from 2020 called Nobody Sleeps in the Woods Tonight. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. You can also leave a comment down below. Sit tight and let's get started. The story begins with an old lady washing blood-soaked clothing in a tub full of water. A postman who just arrived notices noises coming from the house's cellar. Thinking someone is trapped down there, the postman makes his mistake when he rips off a board barring the entrance and enters the basement. Then he is dragged by an unseen force into the basement and disappears. 30 years later, a phone-free camp for teenagers starts with all the teens arriving and surrendering their phones to the camp leaders. The teens are placed into groups. The main protagonists all end up in a group together and head off into the woods with counselor Isa for a 3-day hike. As they go trekking through the forest, they come across a dead, rotting deer. Isa notices that the deer was not killed by a predator, but ignores that and orders everyone to keep going into the woods. They stop by a lake to spend the night. That night, they hear a noise in the woods. Isa searches but finds a little fox. That night, Daniel is accompanied at the lake by Aniela. After having sex with Daniel, Aniela then goes back to her tent, not knowing that soon afterward, Daniel is beaten to death by a gigantic man by banging his body against a tree. In the morning, everyone searches for Daniel. Isa disregards the rules of horror that Ulick warns the group about, and they split up in groups, with half of them searching for Daniel with the coach, and the rest waiting by the lake in case Daniel comes back. The group reaches the house seen at the beginning of the movie and discovers the basement with Daniel's mangled body inside. As they attempt to run away, they notice the killer coming inside the house, so they hide in the basement. Zosha and Julik escape through a cellar window, but Isa stays behind to fight the monster to try and get Daniel's phone to call for help, which ends in her death. Aniela and Bartek are talking by the lake when she is suddenly killed by a metal bar going through the back of her neck and mouth. Horrified, Bartek runs away and attempts to get help from a priest in a nearby church. The priest knocks him out, gags him, and ties him to a chair. The priest hears noises outside and goes to investigate. He is killed by the killer by putting him in a wood chipper. The killer enters the church and opens the confession box to find Bartek hiding. Zosha and Ulick, having run away from the killer's house, find refuge in an old man's house, who tells them the story of the twins who lived with their mother until they found a small meteorite that crashed in the area. The twins take a piece of rock and keep it hidden under their bed. The following night, a black fluid seeps from the rock and enters the bodies of the twins, who lose their minds and become animalistic carnivores. Their mother awakens in the morning only to be horrified seeing her sons eating their dog in the basement. She locks them up in the basement and hunts animals to keep them hidden. The old man states that the mother lost her mind. One day, while trying to get a dead animal into the basement, she dies, causing the twins to be able to escape. The teens decide to call for help and go back to the basement to get the phone from Daniel's body. Ulick tries to distract the killer with some noise, and Zosha sneaks into the basement to grab the phone. However, the killer's twin is in front of her, and Ulick stabs him to distract his attention. Zosha is knocked unconscious and chained up, while Julik is stabbed with a knife and his tongue will rip it out. Zoshi awakens to find Ulick suffering with the knife embedded in his abdomen. She tries to use Daniel's phone, but it dies. Zosia kills Ulick to end his pain. She uses the knife to unchain herself and considers escaping, but takes a machete from the room instead. She goes upstairs, hearing the twin snoring on the bed. Zosha stabs the twin until he appears to be dead. She leaves the house and runs. The old man hears knocking on his door and shoots through the door with his shotgun, thinking it might be the twins, but discovers that he just murdered Bartek. Zosha notices a policeman near a forest road, who agrees to drive her back to civilization after noticing her distress. On their way, they run over one of the twins. Seeing a body on the road and wanting to help despite Zosha's warnings, the officer is killed after failing to use his pistol against the murderer. Zosia is locked in the car in the back but breaks the window. She attempts to drive away in the car after shifting the stick and clutch and is successful, though only after driving several times over the killer and drives away. At the end of the movie, the killer is shown to still be alive. His twin wakes up in his bed, having survived the stabbing, and stares at the police lights outside his house. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on our latest content. You can also give us a thumbs up if you liked what you saw.